Great camera operators with Flow and Off Racing. And wanted to mention it's Dean Mills' 30th anniversary of his first race. So once again, congratulations to Dean. It's been cool having him at a lot of our USAC races. Derek Bishak's in the house. You've been getting quite sporty on the pavement lately, but does really any racetrack you race during the entire season on the pavement compare to Winchester?
No, there's nothing like Winchester. All this making here is up on the wheel the entire way around every lap, and you don't really get to rest. So it's 1,000 laps for about experience.
Indeed it is, and we've talked about the physical challenge all day. Justin Grant's going to start to the inside of Derek Bishak. He's just catching up with some fans. Justin, I gave your car owner, Ron Helmgarn, a hard time about this today, but after last night's post-race activities, has there been any special instruction what to do after the race if you win?
Oh, I think we're gonna be self banned from donuts for a little bit, but no, yeah, just try and work our way to the front here at the 91 and see if we can't kind of get moving towards the front a little bit. Those fans you were talking about, that was Billy Weiss. He's not even a fan.
Oh, that was Billy. I didn't even recognize Billy.
Yeah, I was down here asking him for some advice, see if we can't get around here a little better.
What did he tell you?
Just go faster.
Wow, that's really insightful. I think Justin's hiding some of Billy's speed secrets. Bobby Santos III going to roll off from the 5th spot today. And Bobby, the name of the game today is going to be exhausting, and I can already see it. You're working up a sweat just standing here on the grid. So we talk about how physical this racetrack is, but now with the afternoon heat, how mentally exhausting can it be along with it?
Yeah, it's probably more mentally exhausting than physically exhausting. Just got to be mentally prepared to run 100 laps and be nice and smooth.
Bobby Santos III definitely knows how to get around the pavement racetracks. Has not won here in a Crown car just yet, so expect him to be good today. We've talked a lot to Taylor Ferns, our daily driver, but we also just presented the rings to Logan Seavey and crew, of course, celebrating that win last year. Here's Taylor. I know you're probably tired of talking to us today, but never. Oh, that's very nice. Most people just say they're tired of me constantly. But regardless, this has been a fantastic racetrack for you. We've documented that quite well, but what are the nerves like? Because this is one of the better Crown starts you've had in the last couple years, and I'm sure that can take its toll on you mentally before you even strap in the car.
Yeah, qualifying has never really been my strong suit other than when I was wing dirt 410 sprint car racing when I was 18, 19. I've always kind of struggled with it. I've always been more of a racer, keeping up my momentum in that aspect. So, obviously really lucky and grateful that we pulled off a good lap in qualifying here starting third. But I would say I don't have any nerves. Like, I feel comfortable with where we're at. I know we have a good piece, and I feel confident in my ability. So I feel like this is where all the hard work pays off, and so it's just about executing on our plan. And also earlier I realized I said it's 50 laps, and I know it's not, so blind moment. But yeah, really looking forward to these 100 laps and, hopefully, parking it in victory lane.
Well, Brian's got something for us real quick, but I want to get back to you. Go ahead, Brian.
John Stone, you're the winner of the Pace Truck Ride. You need to make your way. So John Stone, congratulations, winner of the Pace Truck Ride. Also need to start clearing the front straightaway. Again, we need to clear the front straightaway at this time.
Well, Taylor, one thing I wanted to touch on really quick that we haven't yet today is you got a really exciting opportunity with Able Motorsports and the Indian X by Firestone Series. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. So I'll be racing the 4 Oval Indy Next races this summer. Actually, some of my team from Able's here today supporting. So, we've really clicked just like the past 2 months that I've gotten to know them, and, grateful for the opportunity and for the support from my sponsor, Bradford Allen. I couldn't do it without them. But, I think it just all comes back to, I've always said Rome wasn't built in a day, and this is something I've worked for a really long time. And, just really ready to show what I can do and kind of represent sprint car racing in a positive manner, hopefully.
Well, we're really excited to see Taylor Ferns in the Indian X by Firestone Series on the oval races. Quite an interesting story has been brewing all day with Dakota Armstrong. He's been a little bit under the weather. Oh, look at that. He knew I was coming. He didn't seem very thrilled. But Dakota, it's been a battle for you today just to get here. It didn't look like you were going to be here. And now all of a sudden you're starting on the outside of the front row. And I'm not sure if you're a big NBA fan, but you might have heard of the Michael Jordan flu game. Could we maybe see some of the same statistics from you inside the race car today?
Yeah, I mean, the car is definitely better than I am, so we'll see. I was joking. I was like, it's not good to be sick anywhere, but this is probably the worst place to be sick. I did that qualifying lap, and I got out and felt horrible. So hopefully Cody just slows the pace down for me a little bit so I can catch my breath. But, no, we've been good. The car's great. Kevin Biesacker really just put these cars together good. Me and Taylor both are just really fast here. But it's been a long time since I've come here, and this place hasn't changed. These open wheel cars around here are just something different. I mean, they are fast. So we'll see what happens in this race and just hang on to it, and hopefully we're good enough to be there at the end.
Some drivers that get sick over the course of a day, they say sometimes when you get in the race car and you get going, you don't really notice it. Is that the case for you, or is it still bothering you inside the race car?
It was bothering me there, but luckily the pace just slows down here quite a bit, so I don't think it'll be too big of an issue. But I really don't feel bad. It's just I've just been kind of sick, and then it's like when you're sick and it's like, hey, go run, because out here you're just exerting a lot of force around this track. So we'll see what happens, but I feel pretty good as far as with the car. Just got to make sure I can hang on to it and just see what we got for the 77.
Dakota Armstrong still battling a little bit of that pesky issue that's been bothering me. We'll bring the camera up here, as something important was very cleared up in the drivers' meeting before practice. So there was a bit of a controversy at Toledo, maybe a confusion of the rules, if you will. So this is a Silver Crown starter. It is very unique to the Silver Crown series, still holding some of those traits from back in the day. We still see it with the NTT IndyCar series a lot, and this is kind of something that you have to get started. And we want to make sure that everybody begins to clear the track. Once again, if you're here at the Speedway, please begin to clear the grid. But as I was getting this starter, so the rule that Tommy Estes has put into place, kind of the same rule that we've seen over the years with USAC Silver Crown Series. You have to start and pull away or you'll lose position. But Tommy Estes clarified today that if you pull away from your crew's hands and you get going and it chugs to a stop, you're allowed to get a push from the push truck and refire. If it does not start and does not pull away at all, and you have to use the assistance of a push truck, you are going to the tail of the field. So that is a very important thing to clear up from Toledo, and something that was very important in the drivers' meeting, as we'll send it back up top to Brian Holbert.
So any of the children in attendance, if you'd like to get a picture, you can go down to the gate. They're going to bring you out of the front straightaway. So, again, we need all the adults, all the families, everybody need to make your way back into the stands. The kids, though, if you want to go down there, they're going to get a quick picture with you as quickly as possible.
It's midget racing mayhem in Missouri on Sunday night, May 19th. Sweet Springs Motorsports Complex is the hot spot for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship in the month of May. Racers from all over will converge on the thrilling 1/6 mile for the annual John Hink Championship. It's open at 4 Central, grandstands at 5, and cars on track at 6. Small cars, small track, big hearts, and big dreams with 6,000 win on the line. The USAC National Midgets at Sweet Springs on Sunday, May 19th. How sweet it is. Twin Bill in Belleville, USAC returns to the world-famous dirt track at Belleville, Kansas on May 17th and 18th. It's a tantalizing two-night doubleheader featuring midgets on the racy short track and Silver Crown on the blazing fast high banks. Friday night, it's a full program for the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship and practice for the big cars of the Silver Crown division. On Saturday, it's a full tilt boogie with complete programs for both series as midgets go 40 laps and Silver Crown hammers down for 50. Gates open at 5 Central and cars hit the track at 6:30. Tickets are on sale now at BellevilleHighbanks.org. USAC is back in Belleville on May 17th and 18th. Don't you dare miss it.
Broadcast here on FloRacing. It is the Rich Vogler Classic, the 33rd running. And for the 4th time, the USAC Silver Crown Series on the high banks here, all 37 degrees. The lineup is squared away, and ladies and gentlemen, the drivers have gridded out to the front straightaway, and they'll roll to the green like this. The driver starting 22nd tonight comes to you out of Kaufman, Texas, driving the Abilene Powder Coating Chevrolet Beast. City Vinny number 48, it's Nathan Moore. Lining up 21st. He comes to you out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, driving the Rich Wine Garage, Gertie Powered Beast, Macquarie Concrete number 31, Dave Burkheimer. Looking to the outside of your 10th row. Coming to you out of Shelbyville, Indiana, driving the Crane Works, Williams Chevrolet Beast number 32, that will be Greg Corey. And for the 19th starting spot tonight, out of Goodyear, Arizona, the Legacy Autosport, Robert Wilson Racing, GMS number 40 of Nathan Bird. From the 18th starting spot, out of St. Charles, Missouri, the Performance Plus Global Logistics, Turner Chevrolet Beast, Spartan Transportation 08, that'll be Kyle Steffens. And lining up 17th, driver out of Plymouth, Indiana, the First Line Systems Incorporated, Jackson Chevrolet Beast, Drywall Distributors, number 41, Tyler Rohrig. Going to the outside of the 8th row, the driver out of Columbus, Ohio, in the Flint Trucking and Truck Services, Kirchner Chevrolet Beast, Duncan Oil number 81, Tall One, Trey Osborne. And for the 15th starting spot tonight, out of Cincinnati, Ohio, driver of the JTM Food Group, Toyota Beast, BHR Performance, Brad Hayes Racing, number 124, Jackson Masenko. Rolling from 14th, the Legacy Autosport, McGittney Conveyors, Metalloid 1, MPD Chevrolet Legacy, number 19, the driver out of Boise, Idaho, Davey Hamilton Jr. And lining up to his inside, out of Pendleton, Indiana, driver of the Ernie Gorman Racing, J&D Chevrolet, B. Smith Family Farms, number 18, Travis Welpott. Going up to the 6th row, looking to the outside of the Mag Machine and Tool, Jackson Chevrolet Beast, Willwood, K&R Racing, number 7, Kyle Robbins. And lining up to his inside, she comes to you out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, driver of the Sam Pierce Chevrolet, AP Driver Development, RE Enterprises, Beast number 26, Miss Kaylee Bryson. And now to your top 10 starters on the outside line, out of Chatham, Illinois, driver of the Remick Cartabag, Toyota Beast, Guest Performance Products, and EnviroFab Clouser Auto Repair, number 92, Mario Clouser. And lining up ninth this afternoon, out of Alvin, Texas, driving the NPD Chevrolet-powered Legacy Autosport Wings and Wheels Foundation, Robert Wilson Racing, number 60, that is Trey Burke. Out of Angola, Indiana, going for the 8th starting spot, driving the Complete Collision, Klotz Synthetic Lubricants, All-Star Performance, J&D Powered Beast, number 131, Derek Bishak. And lining up to his inside, out of Ione, California, driver of the NOS Energy, Super Fitness, Hemmelgarn Enterprises, Speedway Ford, Beast number 91, Justin Grant. Out of Greenfield, Indiana, lining up 6, in the Klatt Enterprises, Beast, Ford-powered, Willwood, Brandon Miller Racing Solutions, number 6, C.J. Leary. And for the 5th starting spot tonight, out of Franklin, Massachusetts, the Brandon Miller Racing Solutions, Speedway Chevrolet Powered, B. Simpson Race Products, DJ Racing number 98, that is Bobby Santos III. To the right of row number 2, out of Sutter, California, driver of the Beast, Felker Chevrolet, Stidda.com, Indy Custom Zone, MPV Express, Ford Check Marketing, Rice Motorsports, Abacus Racing number 22, Logan Seavey. From the 3rd starting spot, she hails out of Shelby Township, Michigan, the Bradford Allen Mobile One Motorsports Safety Group, Ecomin Car IQ Pay, Simpson Race Products, number 555, Miss Taylor Ferns. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the outside of your front row, he hails out of Newcastle, Indiana. Driver of the Meristem Crop Performance, Stanton Chevrolet Powered, Beast, Armstrong Farm, C&M Motorsports, number 5, Dakota Armstrong. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the driver who is qualified on the pole out of Kingsburg, California. He is a 7-time champion in USAC Silver Crown competition with 140 career starts. Driver of the Mission Foods, Wilkie Orthodontist, Glenn Farms, Lansing Ford-powered Beast, Doran Binks Racing number 77, Cody Swanson. As that, ladies and gentlemen, the starting grid, the starting lineup for the 33rd running of the Rich Vogler Classic. So the drivers are going to start getting strapped in and ready to go, and I do believe down to Drake.
Thank you so much, Brian. We talk about all the things Cody Swanson has accomplished, the most championships, the most race wins, most fast times, but seeing another bit of history here today at the Winchester Speedway. No one has won 3 USAC national races back to back here at the Winchester Speedway since Ryan Newman did it back in 1999. And Cody Swanson is a guy who really appreciates the history of this sport, respects it, and he loves writing his name in the history books. Of course, the last 2 wins here coming in this race at the Rich Vogler Classic. We'll see if he can get that elusive 3rd win and do what Ryan Newman did back in 1999 as he climbs aboard the Doran Binks Racing 77.
USAC event number 199 here at Winchester. So many years of history in sprint cars and midget competition, and now laying a foundation for Silver Crown in their 4th visit. And Christy, this looks like it's shaping up to be a good one.
I'm really excited for this one. Obviously, it's always exciting to come to Winchester Speedway, and I was glad to have the opportunity to talk to Cody Swanson about some of the dynamics of the racetrack and how you have to approach those corners. And he gave some, as he always does, some really good insights onto that. And so it was, I'm glad to have heard from him what that experience is like. I don't think there's anybody better to testify to what it's like to run Winchester Speedway. Looks like we're going to go down to the infield of Drake York.
Thank you so much, Christy. And things have already changed here weather-wise in the last couple of minutes. You may have noticed watching on home at FloRacing, it has gotten noticeably darker. We do have some cloud cover, and the wind is starting to come in. Not a strong gust of wind by any means, but it's a steady, slight breeze here. And we've talked to Taylor Ferns, we've talked to Cody Swanson and a couple other drivers about how the weather affects this racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see if this cloud cover and wind stays or if it's going to go back to bright sunshine. That can dramatically change this race here today.
Thank you very much. So you see the crew members, they are positioning behind the cars. Once they fire, they can push the car away, but that car has to roll free from them. Otherwise, they risk the penalty of losing their starting spot. So again, that car has to roll free on its own once it's pushed by the crew members.
So you can see team members getting into place, getting ready to get those starters fired up when they give the command.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, the thumbs up for the front straightaway, if you would. We're going to count down from 3, and we're going to say, driver, start your engines. 3, 2, 1. Drivers, start your engines. And what a sound of 22 cars firing up. getting ready to roll away here for the 33rd running of the Rich Vogler Classic. As they were kind of having to take evasive action there for a second around him.
Yeah, so the two cars that you're seeing come off the push trucks right now were scheduled to be pushed by the push trucks, so those ones already scheduled to have been doing that, but the 124, they're probably going to give it another go on the starter before they have to make any rash decisions here.
So real quickly, as the field begins to roll, especially for those of you on the broadcast, there are the unsung heroes of what we get to do. They're the ones that are actually showing you what's going on. They are our spotters. They're the ones showing you all the action. One of our cameramen, who is here tonight, is by far one of the best in the industry. 40 years to the day, he started filming out in California, and we would like to recognize Mr. Dean Mills for 40 years of covering the history of motorsports. Thank you for everything you have contributed to this sport.
Dean Mills is the industry of videography in motorsports. He started when he was 14 years old, and a huge congratulations to Dean, who has been just completely spearheading this movement of broadcasting racing, which we are all so fortunate to have.
There was Greg Stevens, then there's Dean. There's your top two right there.
Thank you, Dean. So the 124 did get going on the starter on their own, so not going to have to go back to the tail on that one. So it seems like everybody started as planned.
So everybody rolling in behind the Toyota Racing Development Pace Truck. As they're going to come around, they're going to start to get side by side, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost showtime here. It's Silver Crown. Caution lights go dark. Field going to roll onto the back straightaway. Here they are, race fans. It is the big, bad, brave, and bold of the USAC Silver Crown Champ Car Series. 100 times around Winchester, race fans. This is what you saved your lunch money for. To the green of the Rich Vogler Classic.
Croxes are on the double green flags, and we are green.
Field going to barrel off into turns 1 and 2, and just like that, Swanson going to jump out to the early advantage of this one. We'll see if he can keep pace. We saw him lead all 100 laps at Toledo. Can he lead all 100 here this afternoon? As the sparks fly, a little bit of slip of the grip there, battling for that 3rd and 4th position. Seavey holds on to it. Burns right there, going to peek to the inside now, trying to take the spot away to the back straightaway. Close quarters racing.
You don't get to see that often in Silver Crown, where they come so close together like that. But we did see it there between Taylor Ferns and Logan Seavey, and both of them heads on straight, good to go.
Everybody's starting to kind of single out, but still moving all over the racetrack. You see them, they kind of enter the middle. They'll bring it all the way up to the wall, bring it back down, really using this embankment as much as possible. Nobody really going down to that bottom line. As I say that, Taylor Ferns makes a liar out of me, goes all the way down to the bottom. Does she have the run to the front straightaway? Not quite, Seavey. Not quite, excuse me. I'll give you that in a minute. He's going to hold on to that 3rd spot.
So Logan Seavey is definitely running just a bit of the line higher than what Dakota Armstrong and Cody Swanson, Taylor Ferns are all running. And just as I say that, he makes a liar out of me. So we're on the same page.
So the 41, unfortunately, done early in this one, down into pit lane. See if we can get a report from Drake here in a moment, as it is still Cody Swanson leading. His advantage still shy of 4/10 of a second. Also looks like the 48 Nathan Moore going to call it quits here. He's going to take it down into the infield. So it is Swanson leading, Armstrong running in 2nd, Seavey running in 3rd, Burns in 4th, Santos in 5th, Leary in 6th, Grant in 7th, Bishak in 8th, Burt in 9th, and Klauser right now your top 10.
Those top 7 really have separated from 8th on back. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a caution or two throughout these 100 laps and be able to close those gaps back up and give some other people some opportunities here.
Carrying a ton of speed here at Winchester, and this is where you really have dirty air coming to effect. Not so much at Toledo. I mean, we had a little bit of it, but here with the banking and everything, you're really going to start to see a lot more of it as black flag coming out on one driver. Ooh, looks like Probs. He locks up the front brakes on that thing, trying to get it woed up. And everybody going to snake on by down onto the apron of the speedway as Swanson, about the best lead he's had so far, is just shy of a half a second last time. Now he has it still right about 4/10 of a second, 0.440 that time. Burns, meanwhile, up in that 3rd spot, starting to look for 2nd on Dakota Armstrong.
Taylor Burns looks really, really good today. She has all day long through practice qualifying. still, she's picking some cars off, and it's looking to be like a really good day for her.
See if she can get up and maybe contend for a win here. Pair of podiums in 2022. One of them came here at Winchester. The other one was at IRP. Hard Charger last year did 17th to 8th. Her best finish in 2023 was on May 26th. Went 5th from 13th. That was at IRP, so that's a track you're going to see a lot on her stats. She does really well. And, of course, that's another one. She's got a little banking to it. You can kind of move around. You can get kind of feisty, and she's certainly showing it here.
Meanwhile, the 22 of Logan Seavey on the struggle bus. We just saw him battling for third. He now sits in 6th with a lot of pressure from the 91 Justin Grant right behind him.
Grant going to pull up on the back bumper a little bit as they work onto the back straightaway. Now you see that front pack of 5 starting to move away a little bit. You've got a pair of battles here from 6th, 7th, 8th, and then 9th. They've got a little bit of separation. As now, slower car about to come into play here as they work onto the back straightaway, and the 77 can close up quick on him. See where Cody goes. He's going to go ahead and drop down at the bottom of the speedway. About the lowest we've seen him have to run, and that's just because he has to try to make his way around that slower car. And that is the 32 right now going a lap down, Greg Corey.
Taylor Ferns continues to get a really good head of steam coming out of the corner. Dakota Armstrong, I think, trying to have to move around a little bit to keep her behind him at this point.
Remember, these cars have spotters. It's the only time in open wheel racing of this variety that you're going to have communication from the top of the spotter down to the driver. So definitely, they're letting him know, like, hey, here's where Dakota's running. Here's what's going on. You see them constantly moving that line around. It's not that they hear him out there. They're being told they're out there.
It's the closest they get to having mirrors, for sure. As continually Taylor Ferns picking up speed, Dakota Armstrong continuing to move around to try to keep her at wayside, and we got a broken front end on Travis Wellpott, it looks like.
And not sure if Wellpott got up into the Concord. Looks like he may have. Looks like some fresh scrapes there over in turn number 4. So Wellpott going to draw the caution. Now remember, caution laps do count this early on in the event. Once we get towards the latter portions of this race, that's where they're going to stop counting because it does have to end under green flag. That is one of the big stipulations. We will not end under caution.
Yeah, it's always any USAC National Division for the feature event. It's always green, white, checkered, no matter what.
And with that, let's go ahead and take it down trackside.
Brian Christie, I talked to the 41 driver of Tyler Rohrig. He said it lost oil pressure on the 41, lost oil pressure.
Tough break for Rohrig in that number 41 machine. He lined up inside of row number 9.
And he was on your podium at Toledo Speedway just a couple weeks ago, really strong that day. So it seems like it's overall just been a challenging day for that team.
Just the qualms of racing, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, they can happen in an instant.
And these Silver Crown cars do tend to be a little bit more finicky than sprint cars, and midgets are also on the finicky side. So they do tend to have some more problems arise that just kind of happen in the blink of an eye. So that's likely something that they've been chasing all day.
And a lot more components where in a sprint car, it's that direct drive right off the back of the engine into a quick change we're in. In this case, you have that transmission. And from the world that I came from, I would associate it to like a brand that you'd find on like a USRA or USMTS modified where you have that kind of neutral gear, you have a takeoff, and then a drive gear. And they have that hand clutch, and I think Chet said it best, where it's kind of like an old John Deere where you have to hand clutch it to get it to shift. And that's all one assembly, the starter, the flywheel, everything. About $4,500 for that bad boy, and it weighs a pretty good chunk.
Just harder to, a lot of the times, harder to pin down where a problem is on a champ car than it can be on other open wheel varieties.
So single file restart. Caution coming out with 85 laps remaining. 82 left to go as they continue to click off here. Still trying to clear the track of Wellpott. That's another thing. We talk about how the banking just holds you in and really just gets a hold of you as he's going to come up out of the race car after that contact. But trying to get the car off of the track, now that becomes a challenge too, because you get the truck in the wrong angle and put some weight. Well, now the truck becomes part of the incident.
Complicates everything to some degree.
Darn physics. So Cody Swanson leads in 77. The 5 of Dakota Armstrong running in second. Taylor Ferns in third. Bobby Santos the third, running in fourth. C.J. Leary in fifth. Logan Seavey in sixth. Justin Grant in seventh. Derek Bishak in eighth. Trey Burke in ninth. Mario Klauser in 10th. Caleb Bryson in 11th. Davey Hamilton Jr. in 12th. Kyle Robinson 13th. Trey Osborne in 14th. Jackson Masenko in 15th. Kyle Steffens in 16th. Nathan Bird in 17th. And Greg Corey in 18th. Wellpott was running in the 19th position. And Greg Corey going to get the Engler fast pass, so he will get his lap back.
and you'll see that we'll quickly get back into lap traffic, as this is not a ginormous racetrack. So Cody Swanson, your leader, going to quickly find lap traffic once again. But so far, so good on navigating those slower cars.
You know, so many times traffic is the teller of tales on being able to get through and get by. And again, that's where the spotters really come in handy. And we saw that a lot at Toledo, where they were able to kind of pin and pick the bottom or the top to kind of keep people from getting that run, which, you know, sometimes like, well, maybe it's an unfair advantage, but there's a lot of speed and a lot going on in these cars.
There is, and, you know, it has to be an advantage if only one person has it, right? So everybody's got a spotter. They're all equipped the same way, and it really just comes down to luck of the draw on track position and making those decisions on a whim.
So they are going to start to move the well pot machine over in turn number 4, and they're on the radio, officials telling them to go ahead and slow the pace a little bit. Now go ahead and split between where the tow truck was and where they're going to make their way through turns 3 and 4, and they're up there cleaning up, putting a little bit of speedy dry down as well. So the Mission Foods, number 77, in command of this one, 141st. Career start, he is 10th all-time, 7-time series champion. Added 100 laps to his total, so 3,464 career A-main laps led. Wow.
It's really hard to summarize what Cody Swanson has done in the USAC Silver Crown Champ Car Series.
And looks like maybe a report from down trackside of the Indy Metal finishing work area.
I think you guys said it best. Wow. The entire right front essentially is ripped off of Travis Wilpot's number 18. I think we could just call it good at everything, guys. I mean, you look at the shock right there. Part of the frame's broken. The axle shifted back. Drag link is bent. And Travis Wilpot now just coming to his pit. First off, Travis, are you all right? And second, what happened?
Yeah, I just banged my knee pretty hard in there, but the car was working really good, and I went in and I felt a little bit of a vibration the lap before, and then that time right before I got in the corner, the right front just started wheel hopping, and then it just took off to the wall. So something jumped out of balance or started jumping in it, and not sure what it was, but at that point just along for the ride. So unfortunate. It was I think we had a good car for the duration of the race. So, but I want to thank all the people that helped, Trey House, Bus's Butt, and everybody else that puts all the time in here, E-Gorman Incorporated, and all the people that keep us going.
Glad to see you're all right. Travis Wilpot out early of the Rich Vogler Classic.
Good news, okay, after that contact with the wall. So 77 laps remain as the caution lights will go dark. So Swanson, the 77. Again, nose to tail. They'll come around to the NOS start zone. And we go back to green.
Another good run there from Taylor Burns as she gets off the corner pretty good and going to get in. Bobby Santos all over her, though.
Well, Santos thought he was going to try to look to the outside for a second. Obviously, wasn't able to get there fast enough. That right rear in the 555 jumping out wide, blocking the charge here. Everybody running right to the middle of turns 3 and 4. Couple of drivers going up and catching the edge of that speedy dry. No effect on anybody as the 77 of Swanson really starting to open it up here for the first about 15 laps or so. He really wasn't gaining much ground and putting much ground on the rest of the field. Now he's immediately put almost 4/10 on him.
When you're in situations like Taylor Burns is in right now, it has to be challenging to know that you have an opportunity to pass the car in front of you, but then you have your spotter in your ear telling you that the guy behind you's, got a good run, and you have to make a decision about which one's more important to you right now.
Do you constantly go on the offense, like you said, or do you go ahead and go on the defense? Obviously still early on in this one with 73 laps remaining. Yeah, she still continues to fight for her right to hold on to that third spot, but trying to gain that second position. Santos stalking her, though, as they work through turns 3 and 4. And drivers starting to close in on them. And C.J. Leary, and of course, most of the field utilizing a Beast chassis, of course, Klatt and Bob East. The people putting that car together and providing that power plant for him. And we'll see if he can get up and maybe put his hat into the ring here as Logan Seavey up front early. Shuffle back to 6th, Grant in 7th. Bishak in 8th, Clouser in 9th, and Kaylee Bryson into the top 10.
So those top 5 cars definitely separating from Logan Seavey. He still holds the advantage over Justin Grant, but seems like it's just sort of a matter of time there.
And we got one slowing down the back straightaway. That is a 60 of Trey Burkett of Alvin, Texas. Field remains at speed. They will work to the outside here as he is down all the way to the apron of the speedway, still rolling. We'll see if he can make it all the way to the entrance of pit road. As Swanson, his advantage, just over 6/10 of a second, 0.601. And here we go, the battle for the third spot. Ferns to the outside, Santos to the inside. Who's going to have the advantage into turns 3 and 4? Santos able to pull up ahead of the 555, and he will take the spot away as they complete lap number 32.
That allows CJ Leary to close in, and I don't know if Taylor Ferns is losing a little bit of the speed she had early, but it looks like CJ is getting a pretty good run right now, and Bobby Santos obviously just taking over that third position.
Of course, it's going to be interesting as the fuel load starts to come off of these cars. The back's going to start to raise up, and you're going to really see who's set up for the end of the race and who's kind of got their beat on what's going on. And Drake pointed out the track had a lot of cloud cover. Now it is bright and sunny, so that's going to change the dynamic of how they're going to run these cars and how hard they can run them.
And it does keep changing on us. It's not been consistent for about 10 minutes all day long, so they might be used to it by now, but the longer we go on a run, it's going to get a little bit more different.
So they're kind of settling in here as that 3-car battle now pretty much single file is. We got no one slow here. Going to make
Mario Klauser.
Oh, tough break for Klauser. Started off as a rough day too, having to go swap trucks around, barely made it here for the drivers meeting, and now down on the pit road early as we have 35 laps completed.
Yeah, those hard days hardly ever turn around, it seems like.
So Swanson having to contend with the 32 once again, and 32, he looked like he was dropping something there for a second. Not sure if I was just seeing a reflection on the track or if he was dropping some fluid. Have to get another look here when he goes through turns 1 and 2.
I'll keep an eye on that.
See if my eyes were deceiving me here. And he is.
You're right.
Looks like he's dropping fuel actually. So officials watching that to make sure they can either let him keep going or get him off of the racetrack here. But yeah, running the high side. He's well out of the racing groove. And yeah, there it is. There was another big splash there jumping out to the racetrack.
Cody Swanson with a considerable lead right now. That time by, he's got a 1.076 second lead over Dakota Armstrong, who is holding his own comfortably in second place.
So Leary making his way around Ferns. Ferns back to that 5th spot. As Swanson, about the best lead he's had so far all afternoon, 1.017 seconds is his advantage, and the black flag is on the 32. So they are going to go ahead and send him pit side. Yeah, first when I saw that, I thought maybe I was just seeing, kind of a glint off of some of the chrome on the car, and thought, no, that does look like fluid, and sure enough, we confirm it is. So black flag being displayed to the 32.
Yeah, and that's just for everybody's safety, obviously. The banks and
into the wall.
Gets a little bit slippery.
So shave the wall, and a good job on the part of the drivers that were coming up on them. They thought they were going to have a discount Joey Chitwood show there for a second. So kudos to the 26 of Bryson and the 19 of Hamilton for not just running right through the back of them.
Pretty good way to avert that there.
Of course, now the concern, if it is dropping as much fuel as we thought, is it just under speed and it's kind of splashing out, or is there a leak somewhere? So they're going to be very, very cautious and very careful as they get back into their pit so they don't backfire anything and possibly ignite and cause a major issue. As your leader has a pair of slower cars now between himself and the 5 machine.
We're starting to space out just a little bit now as Cody Swanson obviously still has that comfortable lead over Dakota Armstrong, Bobby Santos, CJ Leary, Taylor Ferns, Justin Grant. Your top 6 at this point. Logan Seavey trailing him, and they're all pretty spaced out.
So Stephens and Bird, the 2 drivers that were between your top 2 drivers, now bring it down to 1 as they're able to clear Bird. Now going to go to work on Stephens. And that's another one where it's good to have that spotter so they can let you know, hey, that's the leader. Go ahead and let him go. As this might open up the door for the driver, the number 6, CJ Leary, running that 4th spot. He's going to close right up on Santos now. Thought he was going to maybe keep it down all the way where it transitions from the apron up into the embankment. Not so, though, but chasing valiantly as they work into turns 1 and 2. Clean racetrack now for your top 4, now your top 5 drivers. As the 555 of Ferns able to clear. The 91 of Justin Grant now going to be next to contend with the slower cars. Got another one down onto pit road. And I believe that is the 31. It is Dave Bergheimer done. So Swanson has about a half a straightaway advantage right now. Got to keep an eye on that race for third. Leary coming up and trying to make some noise here on Santos.
And those margins are starting to close up a little bit. We talked about Dakota Armstrong being comfortably in second. Not so much anymore. Bobby Santos starting to close that gap with CJ Leary in tow.
So again, the fuel load starting to come off of these cars. Tires starting